Yeah, hi there. These comments are for 6957. I'm just using the last four digits of your student number. And I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL iBT. I'm going to download and listen to your integrated speaking practice test here. So you're doing listening, speaking, academic, and if I remember correctly, the lecture is about glacier formation.
The listening passage discusses about where and how a glacier is.
You want to say discusses, not discuss. So there's two syllables to that word, not one.
It was claimed that glacier can only form it. It was claimed that.
I would say it is claimed that, not it was claimed. So when you're reporting the information, you can use present tense verbs to do that.
Glacier can only form in polar region or high mountain, where the ice can.
Polar regions or high mountains. So be careful of your plural S nouns. Don't forget to put that grammatical word ending on the end of the word.
Not be melt even if it is summer. The glacier can only form 30-degree angle at the bottom, or it would.
Can only form, let's go back to what you just said.
Form 30-degree angle.
It can only form at 30-degree angles. I would use at, a preposition, to introduce that.
At the bottom, or it would crumble and separate. We only consider a glacier when it began to form. The snow
when it begins to form.
Remain.
But you spent probably too much time on that introduction there. Really, when it comes down to it, the lecture is discussing several steps in the formation of glaciers. Just say that and then explain what those steps are, and that will completely, I think, answer the question.
In the same place every year until it is enough snow heat moist to transform into ice.
Until, let's go back to what you just said.
Transform into ice. For example, it plays every year until it is enough snow heat moist.
No, until enough snow accumulates, or until is enough snow accumulating? No, you don't even need is there. So just say until enough snow accumulates.
Transform into ice. For example, each year no snow bury and compress the old layer.
No, it buries and compresses the old layers. So I think that's something you can take a look at. So in the pronunciation part of my course, I'd like to have you take a look. Let me go. You might want to go to my course for just a minute here. So go to the second section of my course, pronunciation. Right? Let me go there with you. I think there's one area that you can really benefit from in order to improve your intelligibility of American English. Here it is. It's lessons 26 through 28. Syllable division and grammatical word endings. That's definitely something that you can work on. So just remember to put the S's and the EDs on the ends of your nouns and your verbs. Okay, let's keep going.
Is the forming size and sugar granule. The pocket between the grain gets smaller, which
the pockets, S, the pockets in the grain become smaller.
Cause the snow to slowly compact in a density. After 2 winters, the snow turned to firm.
The snow turns into firm.
Moreover, when the larger ice crystal compressed,
you might say an intermediate state between snow and glacier ice,
the air pocket become tiny. The old glacial crystal reached several inches in length. The force of gravity pulled the heavy glacier downhill, usually after its process takes over 100 years.
Usually after about 100 years, you might say in about 100 years, eventually the weight of the glacier becomes so big that it begins moving downhill because of the forces of gravity, you might say. Okay, so what do we have? Let's take a look at integrated speaking here. So I think topic development is actually pretty good. You covered, I think, the most important information. I think language use and delivery, you had some minor problems there. That's really the issue. So you have to be careful about that. Still, it was a pretty good response. So I'm going to put you at about 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. Now, for the purposes of our class, So let's take a look at speaking. If you go to the syllabus to page 9, so I gave you 2.5, so I'm going to put in grade 85% on this assignment. All right, so thank you for completing this practice test, and I've enjoyed having you as a student. You've worked very hard, and keep up the good work.